Hello and welcome to World Talks. I'm Anna Kalczyńska. Cycling as a political manifestation. In Belarus today, mass cycling events are banned. However, in 2020, cyclists played a crucial role in the peaceful protests throughout the country. Our guest, Dmitry Bolkunets, a political analyst from the Democratic Force in Belarus, recently cycled from Warsaw to Bari, covering approximately 4,000 kilometers across 9 countries. During his journey, he has also been recording documentary-style videos in various cities to show Belarusians audience what everyday life looks like across Europe, in contrast to the restrictions and isolation they face at home. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us here in the studio. So, resistance, as you've just demonstrated, can take many, also unconventional forms. Your influence has been the one of a very subtle nature. Do you believe that such a story can have a real impact on people?
Yes, I think so, because a lot of Belarusians now living in new Iron Curtain. Some of them never been in Europe and have some stereotypes. And Belarusian propaganda and Russian also propaganda every day shows that in Europe people eat rats, no food, no electricity, no water, dangerous, etc.
Is that so? Do really the Belarusian people believe in this story?
I think not so, but most probably in past or some people who never been in Europe, they have some stereotypes, and that is why I just using a small camera. And during my trip from Warsaw to Portugal, it's my new idea for this project. I start 29th of April from Warsaw, and now I cycling to Bari. It's about 4,000 kilometers through 9 countries. I record how looks villages, streets. I communicate with people. I just record shops, some streets, enterprises, met with some interesting persons, and I just record life of people, because it's interesting how culture and how people communicate to each other. I believe in one day Belarus will be open for the world, because now we have living in a dictatorship, a lot of political prisoners, and also for me this journey not like a leisure. I just every time communicate, and I just try to rise up a problem with refugees, like Belarusian refugees who stay in Europe, and also I try to show about crazy situation with repression in Belarus, because 5 years ago also cyclists organized protests in Belarus, but most of them was arrested. Bikes was broken by government, and now it's not possible to organize some events or like mass events of cycling in Belarus, because government banned it.
Well, I can imagine that simple ideas sometimes are the best. Plus, also the opposition, it's always interlinked with something negative messages, right? And here you have something very positive and very everyday, something that people can relate to. So, when did the idea came to your mind?
So, as idea, this was I think at the beginning of this year. I just thinking about necessary to show people how live in some countries. In probably 3 years ago, I just record film about how democracy working in Denmark and in Switzerland, and after 3 years I decided to continue, but I found this idea using bike, because you cannot do it using car or flight. Using bike, you can travel and visit a lot of places, like small villages. You can feel a smell. You can just meet a lot of people. It's new experiments. A lot of people in Europe travel by bike. Yes, I know, from London to Istanbul to Turkey to Australia even. But I think this project is unique, because I just record video about people, about lives, etc. And when I was in Italy, in Bologna, I met with some association association of cycling. They have very strong associations, many of associations, and during my conversation with these guys, I decided I spoke with them, and together we decided to organize a campaign, Solidarity for Belarusian people, for Belarus, and we invite all people from Europe, from the world, to support our idea to organize solidarity campaign for Belarus people on the 9th of August this year, using only bike. If you live in small cities or big cities, capital or countries, and you can using your bike, just take white, red, some colors, and just visit some your important place in your city, squares, or just organizing a cycling road around streets, and in some way to show solidarity with Belarusian people, because it's very important, I believe.
So your message was dual. You reached both the Belarusian audience and the Western one.
Yeah, of course.
You influenced both.
Yeah, because I believe cyclists in Europe, in US also, they have a lot of communities, solidarity. I believe in solidarity is important.
This is true.
Yeah, and many times I saw these fantastic guys in many countries, in farmers in Poland, in Czech, in Austria, Hungary, Italy, and it's very important also to send message for Belarusians that Belarus is not alone, that Belarus is a country who is one of the family of Europe family. That is, I believe, if politics, journalists also support this campaign in some forms. It's not any rules, only just use bike, no any leaders, just it's like liberty, right, journey, solidarity. It will be fantastic. It's
well, you know, our Minister for Foreign Affairs, Radosław Sikorski, is an avid cycler. So
I hope cyclist. He will be also took part on this event.
He very well could. So it seems almost unbelievable that events such as cycling, mass cycling, could be banned by law, but this is the reality in Belarus. So it's a restriction that we here in the West find ourselves hard to imagine. How do the Belarusian people cope with such a deprivation of liberty on an everyday basis?
So I believe, yes, situation in Belarus is crazy, because we have more than 1,000 political prisoners. Yes, due to position of new U.S. administration and support from some countries, also from Poland. Now we have very small progress for release some persons like Sergei Tikhanovsky and other guys, and also it's important position from Nobel laureates who in February asked President Trump, and I know he receives this message. Probably it's also helped him to start some steps to help people who are in prison now, but it's a very dangerous situation, and repression continue, and probably if we will continue to organize some events outside country, also using some instruments, influence for politics, for show solidarity with Belarus, repressions in one day will stop. That is very important. It's not possible to organize some events like cycling in Belarus, because people will be arrested, but it's possible organize it outside country, and I think it's very, very important if once again, if people who live in freedom, who have active position, if they will took part in right solidarity with Belarusians on August 9.
So we are watching your videos that you recorded throughout your journey.
Yeah, it's nearby this lamb, and this is my tent. A long period.
So it hasn't been an expensive journey.
For all trip from 29 April till today, it's about 60 days. I spent only 100 euro in total for accommodation. Mostly I stay in farms, in church in Italy, in Hungary, Slovenia.
Monasteries.
And monasteries, yes, and also I have a tent, and I just sleep in a tent on fresh air, on the beach sometimes.
Wonderful adventure,
yeah, and,
wonderful.
I saw how Europe safety, and how people very polite. They open hurts and every time. Also for me important to involve in some families. I stay in some families.
So what has been the response from your audience back home?
So
any commentaries?
Yes, people want to also travel because we have now problem with visa for people with Belarus, because I just temporary just for a few days visit Warsaw from Bari by flight, but people from Belarus cannot fly to Bari, to another places in Europe, because we have no communication in flights, no possible to receive visa, because I believe in one day we will have many also flights from many towns in Belarus. Because when I was in Bologna, it was fantastic. People told me that 10 years ago there are no tourists in Bologna in so much, because after that they open airport for cheap low costers, and now they have 11 million people every year visit Bologna only flight, and that is, they have a lot of tourists. And fantastic that was happened in Italy, Adriatic Sea. It's one of the beautiful bike road, more than 1,300 kilometers from Trieste to the south of Italy.
I know, I did that one. It's
and
a beautiful,
it's very beautiful.
Picturesque.
And a lot of tourists now coming. And I compare Belarus and Italy in squares, and Italy, yes, of course, in geographical, they're they're bigger than Belarus in 50%. But if we analyzing without mountain, Belarus bigger than Italy. I mean, mountain a lot of in Italy is not using for some agriculture or living, but I believe Belarus have a lot of possibilities to in future to build some roads for bikes, like in Poland, a lot of roads, fantastic also, new roads, Euro roads from North Europe to Greece, to Bulgaria, to another countries, and I believe in one day it will be easy from Berlin to Minsk using bike travel. And people waiting this day. I hope it will be one day fantastic when we ruin this border between Belarus and the Euro Union.
Keeping our fingers crossed. Thank you so much, Dmitry, and for this fantastic journey, inciting appetite for freedom for the Belarusian people. Dmitry Bolkunets has been our guest this morning. Thank you so much for joining here in the studio. And thank you for watching World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Anna Kalczyńska.